Hey guys, this is Bruce with Cross Country 3, and this is the Sentinel podcast. So, the Sentinel podcast is about helping you to be the warrior and the watchman that you can be in the world in which we live. And in America and around the world right now, we need plenty of warriors, we need plenty of watchmen. Those who help us to protect our families, preserve our precious freedoms, and make sure that we are living out the faith that God has called us to live out. We have a privilege in today's day and age to be the kind of people for such a time as this. There's a wonderful story of someone named Esther. Esther was a winning warrior for her people, and someone by the name of Mordecai spoke to Esther saying, "You were born for such a time as this." We like to highlight men and women who were born for such a time as this. And America needs men and women who will live their lives in victory and not be victims. They're winners and not whiners. And so, as such, we like to highlight men and women and programs that are in that arena, if you will. And today, we are able to do that here in Port Richey, Florida. And what a great place to be in summertime. The sun is shining. It's about 175 degrees outside. And okay, well, it's about 88 degrees outside, but the humidity is about 99% or something like that. And we are at the campus of Warrior Wellness. And we have the director and president of Warrior Wellness.
I'm the executive director.
The executive director of Warrior Wellness. And we're going to talk to Chris a little bit here. Chris is to my immediate left, and also to my left is Brian. Brian is the president or owner of Light Wing. And Light Wing is in this area here, and they are drone specialists. They train veterans to fly drones, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we also have, and by the way, we're looking at Army veterans right here, these three. And over here we have the outlier. He is a Marine Corps veteran, and this is Joe. And Joe hosted at All American Gunslingers yesterday a guns versus drone event, which is outstanding. So we're going to get into a little bit of that with Joe. But let's start now with where we're at. We're sitting in a studio here that is designed to help warriors work through stress, trauma in their lives. And this particular building is a yoga studio, and the staff here and their volunteers are helping warriors to get through the events of their life that has challenged them and changed them. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the Warrior Wellness Program with Chris. Chris, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you started here at Warrior Wellness?
Yeah, so I'm an Army veteran, Chris Sowell. Spent 16 years in the Army, and as a forward observer, went to Iraq, Afghanistan, Kosovo, so I've been around a little bit. I came here at my absolute bottom to try to find a solution for what I was struggling with, and in just a short period of time, they were able to help me heal from something that I'd been dealing with for over 13 years. Had an event in Iraq in '03 that I couldn't shake. Did 3 additional deployments after that, but that one event in 2003 just stuck with me. And I'd been through the talk therapy, the medications, all the things that the VA and the military tried, and it just didn't get me to where I needed to be. And in 3 short sessions of the therapy that we provide here, I was able to find healing.
And from there, did you transition immediately to being a part of the team here, or did you have something in between?
No, I just stuck around. I came here initially, I'd gotten a DUI, and I came here to do community service. And the people welcomed me, made me feel at home, treated me like a human, and I felt comfortable here, so I stayed around and volunteered. I did maintenance for them for a little while. Eventually, they asked me to be the manager, and then I went from that to the director of operations, and now I'm the executive director. I've been here almost 8 years.
And right now, you're helping men and women to get through the kinds of things that you yourself got through. How many guys and gals through the week do you normally help?
So our week-long wellness program, we serve 6 participants for each program, and we do 2 to 3 programs a month. So it's just depending on holiday schedules and stuff like that. But at a minimum, we do 2 programs a month, so that's 12. And then we also see local veterans in our community on an individual basis, providing the same therapy that we use during that week-long process.
So these veterans and others come to this location. You help them to be resilient, to be renewed, restored, to recover in a sense, perhaps?
Yeah, so our program is really designed around healing. So the therapy that we provide is really, our focus is to provide that therapy. It's called accelerated resolution therapy, but our purpose is really to help our community, veteran active duty service members, build and live a healthy, connected, and resilient life. And we do that through a bunch of alternative treatment options that we can get into as far as that.
Yeah. Healthy,
connected,
and
resilient.
And healthy is like overall wellness?
Yeah, when we talk healthy, we're talking about mental health, like being somewhere. I came here absolutely broken, and we see people come in our program on a Monday just ready to end it, and when they leave here Friday, they're ready to live again, and that's what we want. The camaraderie piece is huge, so throughout the week we do a small group, so it's really easy for the group to get to know each other and build that camaraderie. And oftentimes, veterans have isolated themselves from that community because they haven't been able to find the solution that works for them. So we get a lot of feedback about that part, is just feeling like they're back with other veterans and people in the community. And yeah.
The term resilient gets used quite a bit, and rightfully so. I love the word resilience. I use it quite frequently, probably more often than not in my relationship to the United States Army and being a resilience trainer for the Army, and enjoyed that part, working with soldiers and family members who needed to heal and overcome things. When you think about resilience, do you have your own definition of resilience, or a picture or standard maybe that you go by?
For me, the reason we focus on that part as well is, like, we can have somebody come in here in 5 days and really work through multiple traumas that have been impacting them on a daily basis. But we don't want to just leave it at that. So we teach them other mindfulness stuff, and also how to utilize the eye movements that we use during our therapy process when they go home. We want to be a part of their journey after they leave here during the week. We follow, we touch base. We call them azimuth calls. So we're going to check and see how they're doing since they left here. We do that at the 30-day mark, the 90-day mark, 6 months and 1 year, just to make sure that, is there anything that we can do to help them? Do they need to talk to one of our clinicians? And then just to get some feedback and remind them that they have the tools necessary to be resilient in their lives.
We had the opportunity of moving around your campus here earlier, looking at the Spanish moss out there, which I think is a tremendous visual in this area, and in South Florida and Central Florida. So it's a beautiful location. We were shown around a little bit, got to meet Travis, one of your clinicians, and he's out there doing a workout right now.
Correct.
So he might have heat exhaustion by the time we're over. Somebody's going to have to do a little bit of care.
He purposely comes in the hottest part of the day to get his workout in.
Yeah.
He's a Marine, so You know, he likes to torture himself. But we,
Hoorah.
Yeah, I told him that he had the Punisher shirt on and that fit pretty appropriately. Yeah. So Chris, you got a great staff, obviously. Travis is one of those. And then there's someone else here that's in the room right now, and that's Samantha.
Correct.
So Samantha is kind of behind the scenes right now, but I'm hoping that she'll make a appearance here in just a few moments. And if possible, I'm going to use my microphone. Samantha has a title right now. She's working for you, but she's also going through some training right now.
Correct.
So I'm going to give Samantha just a moment to gather her thoughts and tell us what Samantha does for Warrior Wellness.
So Samantha came to us as to do an internship during her associate's degree. So she's pursuing her education to be a licensed clinical social worker, and she did her associate's degree and her bachelor's internships here. We hired her in between those two to help us out with our operations. So she's our operations coordinator. You know, there's too many tasks to list, but she's very helpful in taking care of a lot of the things that go on here. We have a small staff, but they all work hard, and I'm grateful for them.
So Samantha, I learned a little bit about you. You're going to St. Leo right now?
Yes.
And you're in the process of finishing your master's degree, looking forward to perhaps being a clinician one day. And if you'd like to comment on that, I encourage you to do so. But when you were giving us a tour a moment ago, you talked about being mindful and then mindfulness. And if you have just a moment, you can certainly tell how that's impacted you if you'd like. A little testimony, if you will, but then tell folks who are listening what you were telling us on the tour about being mindful.
Okay. So I am currently in my master's degree. I'd been broken for a while as well, and social workers helped me out of that hole. And I ended up here as I was trying to pursue my social work degree, and I found my spot. I found the population that I wanted to work with. I found others that were struggling like me that I wanted to be able to help them out of that struggle. So I found myself here as an intern, and then I was trying to work on my bachelor's, and in between there, working as a bartender locally. I got the phone call, and I was like, yeah, I didn't even hesitate. Like Chris says, when those veterans walk through, it's like a family, and I continue to feel that way even as an employee. So we try to bring that to our participants when they come through. But the mindfulness is something that I learned from this gentleman here when he introduces our art therapy techniques. He likes to introduce mindfulness. Is your mind is your mind full, or are you being mindful? Like, is your mind full of things that are going on in your life, or are you being mindful of what's in the moment right then and there? Are you working towards what you need to do right then and there, or is your mind 1,000 miles away? Which my mind does that to myself a lot, and I look at all the art projects that are around the walls that are in our team house, and that helps remind me to bring me back into that mind, being mindful instead of my mind being full of other things.
I love it. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
So Sam went through our program as well. So when she was in her first little internship, we encouraged her to go through the program, and she had a fantastic week there. So not only, you know, she's an employee, she really helps out the program, but she has that lived experience of what the program did for her. So when she's talking to potential participants, or when, you know, on Monday, when everybody comes in initially, she's able to answer those questions from a female veteran's perspective and a program participant and a staff member. So we find that adds value. So we have three combat veterans on staff: myself, Samantha, and Travis. And Travis is one of our clinicians. We also have a military spouse that's one of our clinicians. So we have a very broad perspective, but it's all tied in some way to the military community.
As each of you gentlemen and ladies know, that value added is what leaders are looking for and what a community is looking for. As you remember from your command teams, whether that be first sergeants, sergeant majors, sergeants major, or commanders, they want to know what value you're adding to their unit. And here you are adding value to your community. And so if the mayor, city council members, those in this area, they're always going to want to know what value you're adding to our community. And you are adding much value, obviously, to the veteran community, which impacts everybody else in this part of the great state of Florida. And what a great state it is. And speaking of that, we're going to transition a little bit to my right, and let's talk a little bit with Joe.
Excellent.
Joe is one of the owners of All American Gunslingers, and you hosted the event yesterday.
Yes.
And Joe, your last name is?
My last name is Bitz.
Bitz.
Yes.
And Joe, you're originally from?
So I was born in Texas, and then I lived in New Jersey for the remainder of until I was able to go graduate high school and go into the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So.
If I would have lived in New Jersey, I would have joined the Marines.
Yeah. It was my only way out.
And the cowboy hat is got a little bit of Texas in it.
A little bit of Texas, and then you can't really pull off a cowboy hat in New Jersey. So I always wanted like a cowboy hat, and then it just kind of fell in line with the business. One of the logos we have is actually a cowboy pointing a firearm. Me being the representative of All American Gunslingers, me being president of All American Gunslingers, yeah, I got to wear the cowboy hat.
Yeah. So I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, right
Okay.
outside of Tombstone, Arizona.
Yeah.
I grew up reading about, admiring, and honoring Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, so I'm in that.
So I kind of fell in line with being really involved in like westerns and stuff like that. The term gunslinger actually came from when we were when I was in the Marines. Each training course or training school that you went to, they'd have clever names to call the Marines other than just calling them Marines. They call them gents, they call them heroes. And then when we were over in California doing our mountain training, they all called us gunslingers. And that's kind of where I kind of grabbed that name.
Yeah,
and enjoyed
nice.
it.
Now, how long have you been the owner or part owner of All American Gunslingers?
Since April of 2023 is when we made it official. So All American Gunslingers was actually supposed to be like an apparel company back in 2017, and it was with the help of Raymond, the other partner and owner, that we were able to kind of transition or pivot to where we're right now in the gun industry. He started from the ground up, kind of like at the low level, like we would as a PFC, as an RSO, and he took a lot of knowledge in becoming more involved in the gun industry. And he started at the bottom, and then that's where he learned how to run a great range that you saw yesterday at All American Gunslingers. But that wasn't enough for him. He wanted to do more. And he was getting a lot of advice from other people to go to the Colorado School of Trade because he wanted to get more involved in being in the gun industry. So he went to Colorado School of Trade. He is a certified gunsmith.
Raymond is?
Raymond is.
Yeah.
And then from there, he's like, where can I go further? And that's where he was able to find a few consultants that could guide us in the direction of where we are. So I kind of held on to the name. I really wanted to be an instructor because that's what I did in my time in Marine Corps. I was an instructor for 4 years straight, not only when it was peace, but on like the firing line when the towers got struck. I'm looking at a bunch of kids that were going to use their enlistment as like to pay for college, and they're not going to college anymore. I had to tell them, guess what? You're going to war. And that immediately changed my mindset on how to train them. And I kind of took all those skills that I learned where I'm now utilizing and heading off the instructor portion of All American Gunslingers, training those people how to shoot and shoot properly. So self-defense is a very big thing here nowadays, and as the climate changes, more and more people are being attacked, more people are being victims. So All American Gunslingers, our mission or responsibility is to make sure that we train everybody not only properly, but make them defensive ready, because you never know when that situation is going to happen.
It sounds like from your experience
Yes.
Around 9/11 and the transition that was taking place in the world there, that you were adapting and adjusting. And isn't that a part of the Marine Corps?
Always.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're doing that even now?
all the time. Yeah, especially being a business owner, you know, you have to overcome and adapt, or adapt and overcome.
Adapt and overcome.
Because everything is changing on a dime here, and if you're not ready for it, you know, if we're looking left, we should be looking right, we could lose our business.
Yeah.
So we're always having our head on the swivel, and that's why it's great to have someone like Raymond by my side, because he has that foresight on making this business better.
Well, you got a great partnership. Sounds like Raymond's doing a lot of good stuff alongside with you. And I'm hoping to bring Raymond over here for a few moments if we could do that. No, I think he can just stand here over here for a minute, although he is a pretty big guy. So do you guys have push-up competition or anything like that? No?
Not yet.
Raymond is very competitive, to the point where even if I am better than him, he can squeeze it out at the last second to just win. And so at any given point, I'm just like, hey, you want to have a competition? I'm just like, no. Because, I mean, Raymond has that drive, especially, you know, for this business, that if I tell him he can't do it, he's going to 100% prove me wrong.
Great. So, Raymond, Marines as well?
Yes.
Okay. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself? Anything that's relevant, and I think probably all of your Marines time is relevant, but some Marine relevancy into how things are going for you today. And I really like the gunsmith piece. That's pretty cool.
So I actually, like Joe covered, I have a really, really long story, so I'm just going to condense it. Joe is my cousin. That's how this relation started. Joe went to Iraq and met me. I was in New Jersey. He's my distant cousin. So I did watch those towers fall. My dad was missing for 6 hours. He worked 6 blocks from the World Trade Center. So it was a different life for me, and I grew up a little bit faster. So that's how all that became relevant. And then I actually looked up to Joe and wanted to do the Marine Corps myself. I felt like there was a part of me that was like, we're gonna go serve. I watched everything happen, but I wasn't old enough. I was 7 years old in 9/11. So it was a little different for me. I had to wait until I was 18. Mom didn't want to sign the papers, so I had to sign the papers myself. But moving forward in my Marine Corps career, kind of it was a wacky adventure for 2 years. I got medically discharged. I had a bacterial pneumonia, so I had to get pumped. So kind of wasn't the greatest. But during my time, I was a 2111 armorer. And in that period, I started playing around with guns. Started cleaning guns, started shooting guns, administering guns to units. So for me, that's where this whole thing really ramped up and took off. And so at that point, I got out of the Marine Corps, and you know, they as an E2, you just get thrown out. Like, there's no guaranteed jobs. There's nothing. So like, I had to get up off my feet and get my depressed self to figure out my next portion of life and go, what am I gonna do? So I started working at gun ranges in New Jersey. Yes, New Jersey has horrible gun laws. We got that. So I had to get to a freer state. But yeah, I started as a range safety officer, which is like the bottom of the barrel job. Learned how to run a gun range. Learned a lot about what not to do and what to do, keep everybody safe. And at that point in time, there was a guy who came back from Colorado School of Trades, and he said, if you ever really want to get involved in the gun industry, you want to get into your own business, you got to go there. It's for basically networking, communicating, and knowing everybody across the country. So at that point, we went, and I got down here after Colorado School of Trades, opened up the gun range. And that was my job, and that was my goal, and that was with Joe to get this started because it was just going to be a him and I adventure. So yeah, it was a fun time. We're here now. It's tiring. It's a lot, but we're going to grow. We're just finishing up our first year, so it's been a heck of a time.
Yeah. So I think we're going to start calling you guys the Jersey Boys. Oh man, I just got fired. How about the Florida Boys from? Okay, never mind.
I'll take the gunslingers from Jersey. That should offend everybody else.
All right. Hey guys, we're going to take just a brief break here. And that is a great story, Raymond, and appreciate your intentionality. So in intentional life, we heard from Samantha about being mindful, and you're obviously very intentional about what you do. Let's take a break. We last left off talking about intentionality with Raymond. Every one of these gentlemen has been very intentional about their life. And I think that honors the people who have come before us and provided the foundation for men and women and families to thrive in the United States of America. Our forefathers were intentional about where they came. They were intentional about what they started or were going to start. They were intentional about the government that they set in place. They were intentional about the communities that were set up to thrive, and America has since thrived. And it's only when we get away from that that we suffer. But I'm so thankful to be surrounded by a generation of men and women who are intentional again. Intentional about living life well, honoring those who've come before us, honoring the freedom that we currently have, and then helping people who are having difficult times in life because of trauma that's come into their own lives or family members' lives for whatever reason. Men and women who are able to take their gifts and their talents to help others live well and healthy, resilient lives today. And Joe and Raymond are both doing that with All American Gunslingers. If you're ever in the New Port Richey area, make sure that you go to the social and get a good something to eat, and then listen to a little bit of music at the downtown New Port Richey area. And then the next day, you go to All American Gunslingers and make sure you get yourself on the range and have a good time there. But when you're done with that, then you need to come visit this gentleman right here. And this is Brian, and Brian is the leader of Light Wing Drones, and you are located in New Port Richey as well?
We're located nationally. We're not just in one area. We're primarily right now in the Tampa Bay area, but with drones, we go global. We do stuff in Colombia, we're doing stuff in Costa Rica. We're trying to get into Costa Rica, one that we're actually working with Brianna, but off of that program, we've looked at we can do a lot more conservationist work as well, which we're doing here in Florida for agriculture with drones, also for conga plant invasion. We do a lot of different things. We're mostly an infrastructure company, which is going to include like LiDAR, surveying, your telecommunications, your water treatment facilities. And that's all stuff I did in the military with the Army, but we worked in coalition with the Air Force and the Predator drone program.
So you're training veterans to utilize that equipment in those?
We are now. When I got out with Chris and Wellness Warriors, that definitely saved my life. That's how we came together. I was having a lot of issues when I came out, and there wasn't really anything the VA was doing for us. So my background comes from, my dad was an RCA engineer for satellite communications for NASA. So I already knew about doing stuff with drones and how that all sort of correlated. When I went in the military, it's like, how can we take this and keep it going? Because like Raymond was saying, and Joe was like, sometimes you get out, you're sort of like, now what do I do? What's your mission orientation? And aligning yourself, like even me and Joe, we met through another organization called Action Joe. We're trying to build something. And when we got together, it was like, it only made sense. Like, you do guns, I do drones, let's do something really cool and offshoot. Well, then I also thought about Chris and guys that I know when I first came through here, it was really hard to really talk with anybody. And then to see like, what can I do beyond what I'm doing with drones, And then I saw a big, huge vacuum with that. Because we do multiple different things. We do entertainment, we do like monster trucks, we do drift shows, we do concerts, we do, even though we're doing like a snake python challenge we have down here, where, the pythons, have you heard about that? Where we're using long range drones to go out in the Everglades there that you haven't seen a person in decades, but it can be done by drones safely. You have guys in the military that they live for that. Your pilots you have on there, your recon guys you have on there. It doesn't really matter your branch of service or your MOS, it's in your heart and it's in your head. And once you take that oath of MEPS, it means everything. So when you get out, you want to keep that going. And when the government's saying, here's a license that we trust you again to go out and do these different jobs, it was a no-brainer for me. And then coming with Wellness Warriors, seeing these guys coming out that they need a purpose again. And it doesn't have to be one thing or another, like Chris is saying, it's like, what are you trying to do? Like, where your thought process at? Where do you want to be at the end of the day? And sometimes it's a little hard talk, but these organizations, which Joe's doing with the range and we're doing together, it creates a job environment for military personnel, not just military, first responders. We just hired a guy who was an EMT. He never thought he could fly a drone, and now he's out doing construction jobs. He's doing fireworks show events and stuff. We need more of that, and the only way to really accomplish that is to work with Wellness Warriors. I will never leave this guy's side. They saved my life. Joe, we come from the same cloth, even though he's a Marine and I'm an Army, and we'll bust each other's balls all day long. But if he needs something, I'm coming over to Hill, see what he needs. You know what I mean? And that same thing goes for your Air Force guys. I don't care if you were a trashman or you were a barber, you took an oath. I tell guys out there, you're in the sandbox, you're way out in the front, everything. Guess what? We wouldn't have made it, and then we brought water out. Yeah. We wouldn't have made it if you wouldn't have brought some porta potties out there, even though we had to build our stuff. And these some guys out there listening, they know what I'm talking about. So we all have to work as a team. But we got something on the outside, civilian factor, that can take it to a whole nother level. Even if they don't want to do drones and they want to go shooting. Every guy in the military loves to shoot. Even if you want serenity, you can come here and you can chill out and find serenity and talk with other combat vets and not be judged. That's a big thing. It's like we go out there and some of us did some crazy stuff, but we did it for everybody. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we chose to do some things that we had to do, and we want to, not sort of be forgiven for that, but understand that we have a problem, help us. When I ETS'd out of Fort Jackson, they said they're going to give me serenity, they're going to help me with everything. So far, I found out I'm doing it myself. And the way I'm doing it myself, not really doing it myself, I'm doing it with other vets. That's the biggest thing. My company, when I'm long and gone, I want it to be running by vets. I want it to run by first responders. I want people that's going to take it to the next level. We talk about infrastructure. We're in everything with drones. Water treatment facility, your agriculture, we're in there, your Batman movies, we're in everything. And behind every drone, there needs to be a man and woman behind it. So organizers like this can say, hey, we're offering, I don't have the money. We're Lightwing, I'm telling you now, we'll offer that for free service. You come to Florida, you get with Wellness Warriors, we'll train you, but there's a process. Get your head right first. You know what I mean? And then you can come to us and we can show you all these different things that we have to offer. For drones, there's really no competition for me right now. There's no competitors. I would love that more. To learn about infrastructure. The government's already put a call to arms to help our infrastructure.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's it. Let's get back to what we did back in World War II. Let's get back to that. We build stuff. We don't just buy stuff.
Yeah.
And drone allows us that freedom to get that creativity back. Me and Joey would have never thought, so we had not met, put our minds together from our military experience, and then his cousin, what he brings to it. We bring value in these things that we're creating now, and we want people to hear and like, come on out, support it, and we're going to support you. But we mostly need those vets out there, man. Like, get off your asses, come on out. You know, let's get it done. Suck it up, Buttercup. You know, we got to go.
I do believe the common denominator between Wellness Warriors, Light Wing, and All American Gunslingers is that not only is it maybe veteran owned, but it's also veteran operated.
Yeah.
And having veterans operate your business is what can take that business to the next level. Because I don't think All American Gunslingers could be as good of a business as it is if it wasn't for the staff. And we hire Marines, we hire Army, we hire Navy. Still looking for a Coast Guard guy, but we'll hire him if he wants to come in. So, but having that mindset gives a certain discipline to running a business that everybody understands. You know, and that's why, like Brian, he hires drone pilots that are first responders and or military. And the same thing, a wellness warrior being operated by veterans. So you're going to get a very, very good product if you're kind of supporting somebody that's not only veteran owned but veteran operated.
One of your values that you mentioned, Chris, was connectedness.
Yeah.
Or community.
Connected.
Or
Connected.
connected.
Yep.
And that's exactly what these two guys are talking about, is being
Right.
connected. And that it is in that connection that you find community and victory, even if you're not all doing the same thing. Matter of fact, you're not going to all be doing the same thing,
Right.
Yeah.
but you're doing your thing with the support of someone else.
Yeah.
That shows some great value again in what Warrior Wellness does, and obviously has impacted Brian for a long time. So as the leader of Lightwing, you're the founder of Lightwing.
I am, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So we've been doing drones for over 20 plus years.
And,
So
and you're going to, as you mentioned, leave that to someone else someday.
it'll be a veteran. That's definitely in my articles of corporation, my business. Something happens to me, it goes to a vet.
Yeah. But you're still pretty young, so.
Yeah, but I'm doing it. I wouldn't say I'm that young, but I mean it's just the understanding. I want also vets to know it's like we're worldwide, so we're not just here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So
I was sold when you said Everglades and Python.
Yeah, Python
I
Challenge.
was double sold when you said Batman movies.
Yeah, Batman movie was FPV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the new one's coming out now.
We're all up for the next Batman.
And it's these jobs behind it. That's the thing. It's like I'm not a pilot, but one of the guys we have is from Lockheed Martin, and when he gets an FPV, he's just locked in because he was 60 million, these crazy amounts of jets, and here it is. He's flying a thing through the city like it's nothing. It's just really finding the MOS with the job, and there's a lot that goes with that.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Joe are going to go national with the gun range, and there's a lot of things offshoot I'm already finding within that.
Good.
Because like right now in Wyoming, they have it called fracking out there. Well, I have drones that do that as far as assess, how much water they need to use, how much that affects the environment. That's an EPA thing. So it offshoots to a lot of different things what I do. So I don't want guys to think that, you go a drone pilot and you're just doing real estate. I'm well past that. I'm looking for guys that the country needs new infrastructure. I'll name a couple companies: Duke Energy, TECO, CSX. They are all hiring drones within their own branches, but they still don't have enough pilots. So my company subcontracts for these people. So I see the need, and they're like, well, where are we finding these pilots? And we've really having a hard time finding them. So we've gone to integrate with a company called Pilot Institute. They're here in Ocala, Florida. And we're going to put out a training seminar for pilots, and I want to do that through Wellness Warriors. But Wellness Warriors is something, if they come through Wellness Warriors, they don't pay anything. We'll pay that bill for their license because we're looking to hire them. So yes, you'd start as a 1099, but eventually we make you a W-2. Something like we're doing with this gun range stuff is all across the country. So it's like, if you'd like to travel, this is something you can do. You like to shoot, something you can do. It's a lot to offer, but we do more than just that. Like I said, as veterans, we're always going to look out for each other. There's no doubt about that.
Warrior Wellness, you're a non-profit organization.
Correct.
Right?
We're a 501c3. Yes.
And people can go onto the Warrior Wellness website.
Yep. WarriorWellnessProgram.org.
And can people donate?
Absolutely.
on there?
Yeah, we have multiple ways to donate on our website, but yeah, absolutely.
And the best way for people to support Light Wing is to...
The best thing for us would be to go through Wellness Warriors for those donations. Anything that's like the things that we're talking about, guns and stuff, would be All American Gunslingers. For us, we prefer you come through those two avenues because we offer so many different things, and we are trying to really organize this part of it through first responders and military veterans first. Some of these civilians, not to say we wouldn't accept that, but that's sort of where we're at with it.
My brother in the Army was an imagery analyst.
He'd be perfect for GSI mapping.
Okay. And what exactly was your role in the Army?
I was a combat engineer, Forward Observer.
Oh, okay.
So we did minefields, and we'd assess your city and squeeze it. Mm-hmm. So your water, your telecommunications, and we had to factor what we need to turn off and turn on, keeping in mind the civilian factor. You know what I mean? So there's that lot that went into that. So we took that information from them, a bunch of us, when we got out, and we started doing it in '92. So we've been doing it for a while. We build our own drones. We do build our own drones. They're called Tyrot 660s, Flywheel 550s. We build miniature drones. We work with Swarm Technology. So, and like I said, we have support through Raymond James, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon.
Out of Fort Benning, Georgia, I was part of 3rd Brigade, 3rd ID, Special Troops Battalion.
Yeah.
And we had combat engineers that I really appreciated.
Please away.
Deployed with with that unit first time to Iraq. Combat engineers always on the go.
Yep, always.
Our MPs were doing great things, and everybody up in that deployment was doing great things, especially in light of
moving fast.
They were moving fast. Second deployment to Iraq was with 10th Mountain, 3rd Brigade,
Fort Drum.
10th Mountain.
Yeah, goats, Billy Goats.
Except 3rd Brigade is down at Fort Polk.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got them going right now.
And
that's engineers right there.
Yeah, and so our combat engineers in that deployment to Iraq, so that was up in Mosul. The first one was just south of Baghdad at Fob Kalsu.
Mm-hmm.
And then up near Mosul at Key West is where most of us were at, if you know that area.
Mm-hmm. Very familiar with it.
And our combat engineers were hard at it all the time. And they got their training out of Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah, Missouri.
Right?
Show me state.
Yeah, the show me state.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of show me.
I've been around. I'm 5th generation military. So.
Your dad worked for NASA.
Yeah, through RCA Telecommunication at the winery that helped configure the satellite systems for the space shuttle. And then he did the 411 information network out of GTE in Clearwater, Cleveland Street.
So if you were to identify some of the characteristics from your dad and apply them to your life, are there some characteristics that you think are very similar, or that you've just clearly adopted from him, or just genetically were passed down?
Just he started teaching us. I start building race motors when I was like 12. So it was all about mechanical engineering, and then how to apply that into like turbines and satellite relay. It's just a lot of stuff he did there, and sort of broke it down. It was sort of like fun as a kid to sort of put it together. You know what I mean? And then when I picked my MOS, it was a no-brainer. I was like, forward rapid deployment and working with predators. I was like, I'm all in. Yeah. I'm all in. So didn't know we were gonna get blown up, shot up, but it was. It's a lot to take from it. I'm looking for a lot of combat engineers, a lot of infantry, because 12 Bravos is a smart infantryman. That's all it is. We just play a lot more with explosives and stuff like that. So it made it easy with drones to put all that together. And it's changing a lot right now. With the different systems that are out there, it's every 6 months it's changing. Right now, everybody's on the DJI chip, but we have 20 different types of drones. So they go from nanotechnology to we go to we call sky whales, and they're the size of an SUV. They're VTOLs. The ones you see on the East Coast, that's what they are. They're called VTOLs, and they're run by gas, hydrogen, or battery operated, and they can stay in the air from 6 to 8 hours.
How many years Army?
I was 5 years Army.
How many years, Joe, in the Marines?
10 years.
10. And your role in the Marines was?
I started off as an 0311. I did a lat move over to 0341. Then I was a marksmanship instructor on Parris Island with Weapons and Field Training Battalion for about 4+ years. And then I went back into the fleet where I was assigned to 3-8 and was a mortarman, but at that time they didn't have use for mortars, mostly for like illumination and stuff like that. So they put us on the QRF team, or the Quick Readiness Force.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of like door banging and kicking down doors, doing a lot of evacs, helping out any particular patrols that were out there in the area.
Now, are you training Marines to do that, or you're a part of the team?
I was a part of the team.
Okay.
So the only time I was training Marines was when I was on Parris Island.
Okay.
But that training also carries over to when you go back to the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was right there during a security check where I was blown up and by an IED we were doing a patrol, we were doing a security check over a bridge.
And where was that at?
Right outside Camp Fallujah, so it was like right in between El Karma and Fallujah, and there was just like this transition, about like maybe a 10-15 minute ride through Humvees, and then that's where I think I just maybe peaked the bridge a little too high till when he saw somebody, and that's when they exploded the IED.
Yeah. What year?
That was in 2005.
That's a dangerous route
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the only time that I can remember that we've actually did a patrol like that, because normally we just went over that bridge without like a care in the world. So in hindsight, it could have been a lot worse had we not done that. But considering I was the only casualty out of that, and that I'm still here, I would say that's I could chalk it up as a win.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of recovery from that after that event.
Were you transferred to somewhere in country before you went off?
Yes. I can't really remember because I was kind of morphined up
Yeah.
during the process. But we would do a few transits until I remember I was moved over to Launchstool.
Yeah.
I was there for like a week or two, and then from Launchstool I went back over to Lejeune Hospital, and that's where I did majority of my recovery there.
Okay. So you deployed from Camp Lejeune?
Yes.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, much appreciated.
Yeah. And Brian, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Chris, how many years?
I did 15 and a half. Yeah.
And your role in the Army?
I did my first 11 years as a forward observer, and then reclassed to be an imagery analyst.
And,
Money in there.
and imagery analyst school is where?
Fort Huachuca, Arizona,
Yeah.
right where you grew up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
Sierra Vista.
Sierra Vista.
Oh, the good old times.
That is the town of the Southwest.
Right.
And it's gorgeous. If you're a motorcycle rider, that region of Arizona is remarkable.
Yeah, Bigfoot signs up out there.
Thank you for your service, Chris.
Thanks.
Really appreciate
it.
You and what your team is doing. Well, guys, thank you so much for what you do. I know that at Cross Country 3 and any listeners that we have, we want to make sure that we do as a team, individuals, families, communities, to support you, and we're just thankful that you're fighters for freedom. You're continuing your fight, and you're winning the fight, and you're doing it on the front lines. There's a lot of people sitting back, not doing much of anything. Comfort is like a killer, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You discover that you sit back too long in that lazy boy recliner, you get too comfortable, and that's a dangerous place to be, because it's hard to get out of that. You can garner a victim mindset when you're there, and that victim mindset just it pays no dividends at all. And there's so many today, but that's not you all, and I appreciate that. It's also not that way for Ignite Collective Agency. Ignite Collective Agency is basically the team that brought this team together, and Ignite is led by Brianna. Brianna is here behind the scenes. Brianna Becker has brought this team together. She went out and did some video at the Guns and Drones event. Before I forget, somebody won that event. Who won that event?
The Cookies and Creations, the guy that came down, and he won it. And
Covenant Cookie Creations.
There you go.
Yeah, led by Michelle Pavlich, and her husband Brian Pavlich won that.
Yes, but we have a smaller drone, and we'd love for Brian to come out and try it again.
There's the challenge, Brian.
The challenge is up.
The challenge has been set. Brian, we want you to meet that challenge.
Yes.
And Brian's an Air Force guy. And
oh man, you had to throw that in there. Sorry, guys.
So you're gonna take that? You're gonna take that weapon back now that you know he's Air Force?
No, he can keep that one. We'll have a special drone. We're gonna put a different one up there. It's a special drone. It does a lot of different things. It's got a lot of value. You want to start getting in the drone business, but you got to come out.
Yeah.
Come out, Wallace Warrior. Show us some love.
Do it right.
Come out, give Joe a call. He'll set you up. And there's a lot of things that are come from that. With things that are going on in this country, with some of the drones that we're doing there, is something that is sort of realistic training. For people to get out there and sort of get the experience of what drones do. You don't have to go to Ukraine to figure out what they're all about. So,
all American gunslingers, make sure you get out there. Light Wing, make sure you get out there. And Warrior Wellness, make sure you go to the website and support this great nonprofit that is helping veterans, not just here in the great state of Florida, but around the United States of America, doing great things to helping veterans overcome the challenges in their own lives and the lives of their family members. Make sure that you look up Ignite Collective Agency, find out what Brianna Becker and her team is doing there. As always, if you'd like to contribute to Cross Country 3, please do that. We want to uphold the values of faith, family, and freedom, and we want to highlight those who are in the fight in any of those areas. God bless you. Until next time, Godspeed.